So ideally the BTR GT one has went very horribly. Not even. I thought the test should be at least at my range, maybe 5 to 10 marks at my range, but it is not. It is very bad. So I have decided to review the GT because these are the GTs which we have to must and should review, and gives us more number of points that we have to know and where we are lagging. So I'm gonna just keep my diary aside of choti copy to write the mistakes which I have did more than 2 times then and there, and then I will just review this video here. So let's start. If you have taken the BTR GT, then start with me, start reviewing the GT, because if not now, you are never gonna do that. Okay. In between, maybe after half an hour to 40 minutes, I will just answer any of your questions if you have any. Until then, keep preparing or keep reviewing. Okay.
Again telling us perioral numbness and she becomes apprehensive and you see that she goes into shock, right? The BP is reducing. So this is classic of LA systemic toxicity, isn't it? So anytime we have LA systemic toxicity, what you want to remember is that the first thing that you will see is perioral numbness, and there can be CVS or CNS toxicity. So this is what is CVS toxicity, and neuropathy or paresthesias are the earliest feature. So now how can there be LA systemic toxicity with epidural, right? So that's the question. So normally when you'll inject it in any tissue, there can be intravascular injection. Same applies to epidural. By mistake, if there is a vessel that has been punctured while doing the epidural and the LA enters through that, that is what can result in LA systemic toxicity epidural. Overall systemic toxicity anywhere means intravascular injection. Okay, so that is what will be there. Any anaphylaxis where the patient can have bronchospasm, etc. But this is perioral paresthesia doesn't fit with allergy as well, right? So सीधा shock में नहीं जाएगा without any other features of allergy. So this is why this is accidental intravascular injection. Another thing that you want to remember here is what would a high spinal block look like. So high spinal block will have bradycardia as well. It will not just present with shock, there will be shock along with bradycardia. All your vasomotor centers will then be suppressed, right? So that's how it will present with bradycardia if it's a high spinal block. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. This was easy question from PSM epidemiology, PID, right? So prevalence is incidence into duration. They are saying that the prevalence rate is similar, but the incidence rate is much higher in women. Means what? That the duration must be smaller, so such that the prevalence becomes equal. So that is what we have to now look for, that which out of these options tell us that the duration. Is lower. Now duration can be lower because of two things. One, the disease duration is lower, means the prognosis is better, or the mortality is higher, right, where the duration will be lower. So case fatality rate for this disease is higher in women 6. Duration of disease is shorter in females, not in men, right? So that is why this is the best answer, that duration decrease कब होगा disease का. Either you are dying early or the disease itself is getting treated early. So that's what the answer is here. Okay. Next. This was in a question from your sequence of labor, the cardinal movements in labor. So what they are describing is, you can see the BPD of the fetal head stretching the vulval outlet, and the head remains in that position without recessing is the definition of grounding. So they are asking us what happens after grounding. So do you remember our mnemonic here, that you got engaged to a decent one? But the boy was not decent. So what did you do? You filed an FIR. So that's flexion and internal rotation. After that, you have crowning. So now crowning is not a cardinal movement, but it's the landmark for before and after, right? So here it's already there. So now they're asking what happens next. So that's what we remember, that now the boy that you got engaged to and you filed FIR. So now he is no longer your fiancé, he is X. So this is extension. So now you remember X and R. So extension, restitution. And then you remember external rotation, and then you remember expulsion of rest of the body. So this will be extension, right? So the answer here is extension will be next. So this is how we remember X and R. Extension, restitution. X and R, external rotation. X and R, expulsion, rest of the body. Okay, so this is about cardinal movements. You're getting a lot of questions from this. Okay, so very important. Diabetes, Kurdi discharge. Thick discharge is what we can see here. So this is suggestive of candida. Okay, so just looking at it, you might not be able to say, but history of diabetes, kind of favors it and takes you there. So now we have to see the options. Wet mount shows motile protozoa is trichomonas, right? So there we will see erosion, redness, strawberry cervix, which we have not seen. Single dose fluconazole is sufficient? Yes, that's what we give in green kit, right? 150 mg fluconazole stat. So this seems correct. Wet mount will show true cells? No, that is bacterial vaginosis. Can be normal, is not this. So this will not have itching. If this was normal physiological discharge, itching wouldn't be there, right? And it wouldn't adhere to the vagina walls like this. So this is candida, and answer will be easy one. Next. Newborn infant present with diarrhea after consuming breast milk seems comfortable when given glucose and water, but exhibits cramps, flatulence, crying after fevered breast milk. Contraindication to breast milk, two different things. So what you need to remember is galactosemia wouldn't present with symptoms like lactose intolerance. This, if I just change everything, if I just change the presentation and keep everything else same, I change the age to an adult, and you would have no doubts in saying that it's lactose intolerance. Can't it happen in a newborn? It can happen in a newborn, where the lactose enzyme, which is lactase, classic. So this is exactly what happens in lactose intolerance in adults. That's happening in a newborn. Why not galactosemia? In galactosemia, two things. One, whatever is the milk, that galactose 1-phosphate accumulates, and that leads to one cataract because of galactitol accumulation? That is also one more question. And second, the galactose 1-phosphate that accumulates is hepatotoxic. So this child will then present with failure to thrive, hepatotoxicity, jaundice. All of those things will be the presentation and not cramps, flatulence, etc. Right? So this is what is very, very important here. PKU I don't think was a consideration. Maple syrup odor aa jayega. Mousy odor in PKU. No, both of those I think most of you would have ruled out. Next, 26-year-old man present with some symptoms of what inhibits the absorption of biotin. What is biotin? Biotin is B7, and you know B7 is a cofactor of all your carboxylases except gamma glutamyl carboxylase, which is cofactored by vitamin K. So what are the three carboxylases? Or anyways, you had to find one carboxylase here, which is pyruvate carboxylase. What does pyruvate carboxylase do? It is the first enzyme of gluconeogenesis. So अगर gluconeogenesis नहीं होगा, he will not be able to exercise properly, right? So that's the presentation here. So the three carboxylases you should remember. So this is pyruvate to oxaloacetate, which is pyruvate carboxylase. This is acetyl-CoA carboxylase, which is your first step of fatty acid synthesis, very important. And then you remember PMS, how we do gluconeogenesis through odd chain fatty acids. So this is propionyl-CoA. So these are the three carboxylases. They always ask you. All of the carboxylases are, biotin is a cofactor of all carboxylases except, and the option is, fourth option is gamma glutamyl carboxylase, right? So that's vitamin Q. So these are the turning points here. So kind of merge two subjects. They are asking that tonsils do not get blood supply from what? So what you need to remember that all branches of PCA are going to supply. No branch of PCA supplies the tonsils. So this is a very important topic. So see this from Libra. Tonsil supplied by 5 arteries. First is facial artery. That's the main branch, tonsillar branch of the facial artery. Then you have ascending pharyngeal direct branch of PCA, ascending palatine also branch of facial artery, lingual artery, and ascending palatine of maxillary. So this what contribute? Always before you mark multiple correct valid questions, just check in the end that am I missing a not or not, because by the time you are processing so much the original question is not lost in your mind. So before you mark, just see, are they asking with supply or which is not supply, so that you won't get that silly thing wrong. Because that's the worst mistake. You have processed everything, they still say, please mistake. So just check. And third arch, right? So first and second arch both contribute to the formation of anterior two-third of the tongue, whereas third arch is what gives rise to posterior one-third. So that is what I meant to ask, but there was a mistake here, right? So this answer should have been sulcus terminalis. So if the question was what separates the first second from the third arch, sulcus terminalis, this is the division that separates the anterior two-third. From the posterior one-third of the tongue. Fact. The question, but a repeat question. So omega-3 versus omega-6 fatty acids, very important. So you remember any one, don't remember both. I would advise you to remember omega-3 fatty acids because they are more important. So you have docosahexaenoic acid, you know that helps us in memory, pathophysiology, in retinitis pigmentosa. So those are two questions. Memory is not a question, just general knowledge, and retinitis pigmentosa में DHA levels are low. Alpha linolenic acid, this is important because gamma is low. So do you know brain is your alpha, most important, right? So that's how we remember जो brain का memory में help कर रहा है, that is what is alpha linolenic acid. omega-3 fatty acid, alpha linoleic acid, and then you have PA in the middle. So remember alpha and DHA. So omega-3 fatty acid, alpha linoleic acid. So what is the other must be omega-6 fatty acid, right? You know the deficiency of essential fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acids will lead to fibrinogenoma, right? Which is also seen in vitamin A deficiency. So this and vitamin A deficiency leads to omega-3 fatty acids will lead to fibrinogenoma, right? Must be omega-6 fatty acid, right? You know the deficiency of essential fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acids will lead to fibrinogenoma, right? Which is also seen in vitamin A deficiency. So this and vitamin A deficiency leads to fibrinogenoma. Next is the forensic factual repeat question. Because subarachnoid hemorrhage is deep seated, right? It is within the arachnoid, or basically you have epidural, which is outside dura, you have dura arachnoid where you have subdural bleeding, and this is where you have subarachnoid deeply seated, and that is the reason why they say it is not washable. So you have dura arachnoid where you have subdural bleeding, and this is where you have subarachnoid deeply seated, and that is the reason why they say it is not washable. So this is not a medicine or surgery question, it's a forensic question, because you will not wash brain in a real person, in a live person, right? So this is autopsy finding, where they can distinguish different types of bleeding on the basis of shape, but also on the basis of this, that अगर wash नहीं हो रहा है, not washing must be deep seated subarachnoid hemorrhage, whereas epidural subdural can be washed off. Intraparenchymal also cannot be washed off, but usually that will be something which is within the brain, right? So that's something distinct. So this is actually just a one-liner that which does not wash away. Remember SH. This is a silly question in the end. I don't know how I have to word it correct. So they are just asking कि mean standard deviation ये है, what would be the limits in the patients? They are not even asking in the actual study, in the actual general population. So very important, we apply standard error of mean when they ask us general population. Anyways, you couldn't have gotten it wrong because I never gave you sample size. Without sample size, you can't calculate standard error of mean, right? Because that's standard deviation upon n. So anyways, all you had to do was tell me the range of this. So you just had to do 5 plus minus 2 into standard deviation, which is 95% confidence interval. So that is 1. So 2 into 0.5 is 1. So 5 plus minus 1 is 4 into 6. Right? So that's what you can write. So this is what you need to remember. Next, researchers are studying the relationship between essential and general development. So now let's see what they've about doing. A study population is selected. They have taken blood samples from this population for leukocyte genotype, known as the sodium channel defect. And now they are measuring the prevalence of hypertension based on mean BP obtained using standardized ambulatory blood pressure conducted over 1 week. So that's the protocol of BP measuring. But is it prospective cohort? No, they are not really monitoring the blood pressure conducted over 1 week. So that's the protocol of BP measuring. But is it prospective cohort? No, they are not really monitoring that reflux rotation saying, or they are not even checking who develops hypertension over a serial 1 week period. No, they are just measuring the mean blood pressure over serial pressure, over serial time, right? So basically, you are measuring BP in a cross-section of population, and you are just saying that sodium channel mutation is associated because जिनको भी hypertension था ज़्यादा में आया होगा, then sodium is linked. They are not doing any prospective cohort, any retrospective cohort, or case control. Did they divide the population into hypertensives, non-hypertensives? Nothing. All they have done is taken a cross section of a population, measured their BP, and saw who has sodium channel defect. Right? So this is what is cross-sectional study. You are taking a snapshot. This 1 week thing would have confused a lot of you. I am not seeing who is developing blood pressure in 1 week and 1 week anyways. You can't do cohort study in a week, right? You are just seeing the mean blood pressure conducted over ambulatory BP over 1 week, right? So we're just taking blood pressure. The protocol of measuring blood pressure has been defined here. So you have to be careful with this, that are you really doing cohort to see who develops blood pressure over a prolonged period of time or not? And here you are not doing that. Okay, so this is what is a classic cross-sectional study design. You check at a snapshot level in a population at one point of time who has the risk factor, who has the condition, right? Next, what is the most likely cause of death based on the following radiological findings? So I've just shown you a radiological image of expert instead of just asking what causes adduction fracture of hyoid. So this is hyoid bone, and you can see there is an inward fracture, right? So this is what is an adduction fracture. Do you remember SAD? You will be sad if somebody strangulates you. So strangulation is adduction fracture. Out of the given options, strangulation is throttling. Murking are two people, right? You have one person closing their mouth or smothering you, and one person on the chest. Traumatic asphyxia is lungs. Hanging will have abduction, outward compression fracture. So this is also a difficult version of a simple fracture. Next, you must advise for partner treatment of STD. This we have discussed a lot of times. So for herpes, very important, we don't treat partners. Yes. So let's just revise. It's very partner treatment of STD. This we have discussed a lot of times. So for herpes, very important, we don't treat partners. Yes. So let's just revise kids very quickly. So you know, whenever you are treating with a gray kid, you must treat recent partners. Green also treat if symptomatic. Genital ulcers treat all sexual partners. The only exception is red herpes, where you don't have to treat the partners. This is also a question which I had given. So let's just solve it right here. If one female has PID, you will treat male partners with kit 1 kit. This is the update that I wanted to tell you. So in the recent edition of STI kits, what they have updated is inguinal Broca kit. They have removed azithral. So now bad is just BT. Okay, so the mnemonic that we had was bad, isn't it? Black is azithral plus moxie. So remove the A from that. So now it's just moxie 100 mg BT for 21 days, and they've added a new kind of granular discharge where you give cefixime 800 mg stat. Everywhere else, what have you studied? Moxie 100 mg BT for 21 days, and they've added a new kind of granular discharge. Where you give cefixime 800 mg stat. Everywhere else, what have we studied? 400 mg. So we're giving 2 tablets now. 800 mg stat and tamsulosin 100 mg BD for 7 days. So this is one kit, brown kit. Okay, so this is the update. sequence now. According to Lansfield, first of all, which streptococci do we group according to Lansfield? It's beta hemolytic strep, right? The second one. So beta hemolytic strep, Lansfield grouping is on the basis of the carbohydrate. A lot of you would have marked egg protein. What was egg protein? That is the Griffith classification. The Griffith classification किसका होता है? Griffith classification is only for group A strep. So जो Lansfield से group A strep मिला है S pyogenes, that is what is the Griffith protein, N protein. Okay, group A strep. So जो Lansfield से group A strep मिला है S pyogenes, that is what is the Griffith protein, N protein. Okay, so Lansfield is carbohydrate in the cell.
Hi guys, actually I forgot today is Thursday and mommy never leaves us to go to temple, so just need to go to temple now. Unfortunately, I just wanted to complete this now and in this video, but mom is calling me. I have to stop this live here. So between that, I have almost reviewed 15 questions till now. Please don't ask just for this GT. Please leave. From next GT onwards, I'll definitely answer how many, whatever is the correct, even less or more. For just this GT, just leave it. I don't want to tell. I'm not comfortable doing that. So I don't know, Aishwarya, I'm not following anything except BTR right now. It's like in last preparation, I have included many pre-planned rapid revision notes and much more for some particular subject. I don't know. In BTR last schedule, I have only followed I have only followed BTR for every subject, but now I'm just gonna revise and then I will, add the stuff to it. So yeah, for now I started with cardiology actually because I don't know, there are so many backlogs for me, so I started cardiology beforehand, and after completing it then I will try to, like previously I used to do some subjects from Preeti Sharma ma'am and for micro and path and also pharmacology. For those subjects which I have already prepared from one source, only those I will add on to the study now, and remaining all from BTR. There are so many backlogs in BTR itself for me, and so far 15 questions. I think these first 15 questions were good with me. So, but there are some mistakes like I forgot the sequence recall problem of sequence of events of delivery. that is, you know, those events. I completely forgot what comes after crowning. So that is what I written in my choti copy, because it's been a mistake, not just once, it's been almost thrice now. I haven't uh, mugged it up. I have to somehow. So that is what I have written. And one more mistake is like, one case fatality rate question was there for me. One second. So my corrects, I don't know, my marks were around 452. Corrects, I don't remember. Continuously, once again. And the marks were around 453 Aishwarya, so I don't actually remember the corrects. And the case fatality rate question was there, where I didn't even thought that that question was that simple, like remembering PID, prevalence is incidence multiplied by duration. I didn't even have the thought of it, that ma'am have asked in the terms of it. So percentile 82 or something, abhi in NEET PG only na. My rank is 40,693. So yeah, that is it for 15 questions. Some new points which I have got to know. Uh, One simple X-ray of adduction fracture which I didn't. So there are one recall problem, one thing that I didn't even have that knowledge of. Remaining were better. I'm studying for. Okay. Aishwarya, honestly speaking, I never got above 400 in Marrow GTs. So it was a surprise to me that I just gave, for the last one and a half month before NEET PG, I didn't give any GT, and I barely given 4 to 6 GTs back then. 6 GTs, I would say. I used to get around 300, 325, 340 is what I would stay at. Sometimes even less than 300. And so the main exam is something which you can't imagine how you may reach. So don't think about marks in this exam. So what are your takeaways while writing GTs? Is what you have to concentrate on, is my opinion on it. Okay guys, I've got calls. So if possible, after coming from temple, I'll try to do this, or otherwise I'll just do it from my home. You should, or I will log into the Discord if possible. Discord is easy and better, because not everyone is joining. Happy Holi, Vishal. Thank you so much. Happy Holi too. So yeah, see you tomorrow in the early morning live session. And also try and review the GT today itself. If not on the live, I will meet you on the Discord app. Please do try to join. Don't think that nobody is there and don't just log out. It is just like Yule Pamta. I'm expecting people to on the videos, because it's it's only unidirectional in this YouTube. So Discord can be much more better. If possible, do on the videos and do join Discord. Yule Pumped, I'm just forgetting it to on, so I just stopped it there. But so many people have benefited by that. I have been seeing it, and we'll see how much Discord will do for us. Otherwise, I'll just can't even log in through it too. Link I have given in the latest video of my channel, Aishwarya. Please check it out. And also, I have been posting it in the Telegram channel, the Discord link. If you haven't joined it, I have given it in the YouTube description of my channel and the latest video of my channel. You can see them both. So that's it for today, guys. We'll see what I will do. Now, for now, please excuse me. Thank you so much for joining. Meet you tomorrow or in the Discord. Bye bye. Don't worry about BTR GT1. It is horrible. And after reviewing, you will have this same feeling of so many questions. I am able to do that, but I still didn't. You will have that feeling. So keep them in your mind, which you are having, the deja vu of those questions or those answers in your choti copy. The Teach Medics, I usually come at around 5 in the morning till 6:30, and from 6 to 8 o'clock in the evening, depending on my comfort. So 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. Today I just wanted to review the GT for the next 3 hours, but fortunately I have this. I didn't see it coming actually. So thank you so much for joining. Bye guys. Happy Holi.